Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone. I hope you're checking out 1 hour of 5-Yard Rush, one of the best podcasts on NFL football in the UK.
Hey everybody, back again with part 2 of the matchup show. If you listened to yesterday's show, or if you watched it, first of all, if you watched it, I'm really sorry. Yeah, the audio dropped off for the Monday night games. Terribly sorry. I moved my mic to type something, and then the audio just went out and put me on mute. So I do apologize for that greatly. So so just going to jump back on here. It gives me an opportunity just to do some updates on injuries. So I'll do that first, and then I'll do the 2 Monday night games. Really short pod, should be about 10, 11 minutes or so. We'll see how we get on. So let's talk about the injuries, first of all, by position. So a lot of injury news comes out on Wednesdays. Just the one quarterback on the report of note, which is Jimmy Garoppolo. Don't think it's going to hold him out, but he is questionable. He was limited in practice yesterday. So one to keep an eye out on if you're in a Superflex league. If you're in a 1 QB league, then not one to worry about too much. Significant injuries at the running back position. Let's start with Kenneth Gainwell. I told you yesterday it was unlikely he was going to play. He's now officially ruled out for Thursday Night Football. So he is out, which means I've adjusted my rankings accordingly for the running backs in that game. So DeAndre Swift, I've moved up to 29, and Rashad Penny, I've moved up to running back 50. Not player I'm looking to start this week, but one to keep an eye on. Other running backs that are questionable for the weekend. Aaron Jones didn't practice yesterday, so one to really keep an eye on. I've still got him ranked at 11. I'll wait for more information, but not a great sign. Austin Eckler is questionable. Breece Hall is questionable. James Conner is questionable. Raheem Mostert is questionable. They're the 5 big names. All of them in my top 26 of my ranks, so all of them in startable range. So keep an eye on the news on there for Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, Breece Hall, James Conner, and Raheem Mostert. Other players that are questionable, less of a concern really. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tajee Spears, and Chris Evans. But I don't think anyone will be starting those players this week unless you're in a super deep league. Moving on to the wide receivers, and lots of injuries at the wide receiver position. Noah Brown is out for Sunday. Don't think many people would have started him. I had him down at wide receiver 91. Wasn't overly confident he would start, but he was an acquisition there in the summer for the Texans. But as a result, he is not playing. Ones to watch this week: Devontae Adams is questionable, as is Jalen Waddle. DeAndre Hopkins, Jacoby Myers, I believe, is still in the concussion protocol, so keep an eye on that one. Romeo Doubs, Treylon Burks, Brandon Cooks, Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson. Not surprised to see him questionable. I'm still not convinced he's going to go, hence why he's down at wide receiver 55. Curtis Samuel, Devontae Parker, Kayshon Boutte, and John Mechie III. Those sort of last couple of names, Boutte and Mechie III, not ones to worry about. I'm sure no one was really looking, unfortunately. Devontae Parker's a big one. But he doesn't look like he's going to be ready to go. Hence why I've got him down at wide receiver 89 at the moment. And didn't talk about yesterday's show because don't think he's going to be healthy to play. And then, you've got Curtis Samuel. Questionable. Again, not sure you would risk starting him this week, even if he does clear that. So really, you're focusing on Watson, Jeudy, Cooks, Burks, Doubs, Myers, Hopkins, Waddle, and Adams. So keep an eye on those players as we go through the week. Few tight ends. 3 of these are absolutely no doubt what we expected. Travis Kelce, but he did at least practice a little bit. Same with Mark Andrews. So I think both of those will go, as will Darren Waller, who's dealing with a recurring injury. So he might be questionable most weeks. So just keep an eye on that one. And Dalton Schultz, who was disappointing in week 1, he is also questionable. So keep an eye on that one. A lot of you might have taken him as your only tight end. So keep an eye on that one. That is all the injury updates as it stands right now. It is Thursday morning. It's 10 a.m. Or just before 10 a.m. So when I'm recording this, so keep you updated on any news tonight, if there is any that you need to be aware of and across when we do the flagship show. So just moving on to the games here for Monday Night Football. 2 games just quickly to do. New Orleans and Carolina. I'm not starting either of these QBs in one QB format. And Superflex, both of them are fine to start, but yeah, in a 1 QB league, you're probably not starting either of these QBs, despite the fact that Carr had a pretty decent week 1. As for the running backs here, Miles Sanders is my highest ranked running back. I think I've got him at running back 18. I did make some changes yesterday. So, I've got Miles Sanders at running back 18, Jamal Williams at running back 23 on the week. So both of those are in the low end of the starter range, but you are likely to start them. There isn't anyone else I'd put under any consideration to start this week. Moving on to the wide receivers. Chris Olave is my wide receiver 9 this week, so definitely start him and fire him up. Michael Thomas is wide receiver 36, so consideration for a flex play. And Rashid Shaheed, he is my wide receiver 52. Highest ranked Carolina wide receiver is Adam Thielen at wide receiver 64. Just not confident starting any Carolina wide receivers right now, especially after that dismal performance last week. And you can start, both these tight ends are going to be on the fringes of the tight end 1 conversation, so you can definitely fire them up and start them this week. And then when it comes to the kickers, I'm not starting either of the kickers, but I would definitely be firing up the New Orleans Saints D this week. I think they could be on for a good one. Last matchup is the Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers, and I've got Deshaun Watson as my QB 12 this week. I'm not touching Kenny Pickett until Matt Canada gets fired. Definitely not a game I'm targeting Kenny Pickett for, probably even the Superflex. Just think that Matt Canada is it's been pretty awful since he's been there. He's the only offensive coordinator in the Pittsburgh, the only team in the last 3 years that have not had a 400-yard passing game. Every other team's had at least 3, so pretty awful game. Pretty awful performance there. So, just not convinced on Matt Canada at all. Don't know how he's still got a job. I digress. Running backs in this game, Nick Chubb is my running back 3 in this one. I have Najee Harris at running back 17, Jaylen Warren at running back 47, just not buying the reports yet that this is a committee. I think Najee Harris has shown last week is going to get the majority of the work. Moving on to the wide receivers, and obviously they lost Deontay Johnson this week. So that does mean that George Pickens gets a huge boost in my rankings. Amari Cooper is the lead wide receiver in this. He's wide receiver 18. George Pickens is my wide receiver 24 this week. Elijah Moore, wide receiver 43, well in consideration of a flex play this week. Moving on to the tight ends. Both these tight ends are in tight end 1 consideration. I have Pat Freiermuth at 9 and David Njoku at 11. So both of them well in consideration of starting this week if you have either of those. I'm not starting either of the kickers, both outside my top 18 this week. But when it comes to the DSTs, I have the Cleveland Browns at 8 and the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10. I think this will be quite a low-scoring tight game. So I will be looking to have both of them. If I had either of those defenses, I'd be quite comfortable starting either of those this week as my DSTs. That's going to do it. So sorry about the issues yesterday. I did say I'd try and keep this to under 10 minutes, and so far it looks like I have done. Join in tonight's matchup show. It will be live, so ask questions of our commissioner extraordinaire who will be on. Ask questions of us for any of your start sits or any questions that you might have going into this week. We'll pick the best ones and answer them live on air. But until then, Rush Nation, don't forget, as always, keep rushing.